was amongst the LeVar Ball Big Baller brand between Lonzo, his eldest son, and LeVar Ball. I don't know if how close you've been following that, but I was just talking about that a little bit.
I stopped watching. Yeah, I stopped watching it when the conflict started. Initially, I found it to be a very positive and like inspirational show, and then when they came from Lithuania, the baby, and all then the drama, and I just said, I lost interest.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I am familiar with the brand. I like them. I like what he Lavar. I really like him. I like what he tried to do, and I think that he's catching a lot of heat because he believes in himself and he pushes his children, and a lot of people can't take that kind of spice, So I wish them well, and I'm familiar with it. And like I said, I like them overall, but the intricacies of it, they lost my attention with the show. So
right. Yeah. I mean, I definitely understand it. Understand from that standpoint. I hadn't watched the show. The only reason I was talking about it, I saw a clip where they were kind of in conflict over what was going on within the company. So I caught that a couple of days ago. But putting that aside, I want to properly introduce you. Denise is a singer, songwriter, owner, president, CEO. Um, I mean, host, talk. Radio host, former radio host. A lot of titles, a lot of positions in a long and storied career. How did you get started in the industry, and what has driven you to this point of 25 to 30 years plus in the industry?
well, I initially got my start in radio and in the music industry um, back in the mid '80s, and that was pretty much with Tony Rome, Bill Adler, and everybody at Rush Productions when it was on like 20 something Street in Manhattan. When Russell was Russell, okay, when he had
Right.
his beard and
Yeah, yeah. When it, yeah,
scruffy
when
and
it
big
before,
stomach, all of that, and
yeah,
he wasn't, this, you know,
yeah,
person. And we, my cousin and I, Marjorie, we started a group, like a little group, and uh, Tony and Bill Adler, who's all writing a song about the Jerry Lewis dance. And actually, they pitched it to Russell after we finished it, and he didn't like it, but he liked one line in the song, and he used it in one of Run DMC's records. But I won't say anything. But moving forward, I started, backing away from the musical part of the industry because I saw that for females it was a little touchy. So I eventually went on to Kiss FM to become an intern, and that introduction became something that originates from Dr. Rock, the late Dr. Rock from the Force Indeeds, because I'm originally from Staten Island. And what he did was he called DJ Red Alert, and he asked them about groups, singing groups, and different things of that nature. And Red was gracious enough to introduce me to Vincent Bell, who produced High Five and those other acts. And I auditioned for the group, and they decided to have me as a solo artist. However, things, Russell had just gotten his deal with Columbia, and Chuck Stanley at the time, the one, he did the duet with Allison Williams, and he had his own single out, Day by Day. He passed away, though, but he had his fur coat, and, everybody's, we was at, I think it was Green Street recording, and, we were talking about, my release and stuff like that, but after a while, I ended up at Kiss with Red Alert doing the voiceovers, taking the phone calls, just a lot of what they call production, and to make sure that the show goes like supportive staff. And then I started meeting record executives that were coming in, bringing artists and different things like of that nature. And then I got kind of comfortable, and I wanted to know about what's record promotion. I see these guys coming in here. So then I started getting offers from record companies, and I knew what that was about. So I had to put myself in a position of power in order to navigate through some of the things that a lot of other women had to go through in the industry, and we've been talking about this stuff lately, the Me Too, the Harry Weinstein stuff. And what I will say in defense of some of the men, I don't know some of the men or the instances, but one thing I've experienced is that when someone comes up to you or they approach you, you can say no.
Right.
I've been in situations where, I said no. Whatever they was offering, I didn't want it. I've turned down a lot of stuff. And I think more or less it's your integrity. And a lot of those guys pretty much, they, and I'm not all, because I don't want to get anybody upset, not all. In some instances, most of the gentlemen that I would say that are walking the earth and that have power, you can leave. You get at the table. Some you can't, but that can happen to anybody. But with this industry, they have so many women at their, beck and call that they don't really have to beg you. Like I said, I'm not. This is exception to what they call, rapes or abuse. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the women that are coming forward or stuff like that, are saying, he hit on me, he did this, he did that, and it's sort of like after they got the career and they've been in it for 20 years and they've made millions and millions and millions of dollars. Now you're coming out saying this. I kind of have a problem with that because it's like, are you going to return money? You understand? It's like, are you going to return? It's like you did it. So it was. I think it at some point it doesn't become consensual because you were in it and you took the money. And you took the job, and then you hear some of them say, it's all I wanted to do for, my life, and I wanted this. Okay, well, somebody else could have given you that, but maybe it wasn't time. You sacrificed a part of yourself. There's a balance. Let's put it like this: there's a balance. Not everybody is attacking and raping and doing all of this stuff, and some are. But we have to be smart about all of this because
go ahead.
That's like me, coming at the height of my career, and I made $100 million, and I'm going to talk about the guy who signed me, and start saying he made me do this, and I'm benefiting from it. It's like a contract. Actually, it becomes a contract, and it's like buyer beware. So it's like jump on the bandwagon or jump off. But it's like a lot of stuff going on. But moving forward, like I said, I put myself in positions to make sure that, it was a little different. I got through a lot of that by putting myself in positions of power because I noticed that you named certain things that I, started to do and become, and I did that because I wanted to make sure I controlled enough of my destiny. And the road has been slow, but justice sometimes comes slow. But it's permanent when it's done right.
So for one thing, the names you just mentioned just bring me back as far as in terms of my growing up. You're talking High Five, Russell Simmons, Allison Williams, DJ Red Alert. So you like that just was nostalgic just off the bat. But I think one of the most important things that you just said is not compromising your integrity to try to speed your way up the ladder. And I know you probably have witnessed women who have sacrificed that to for a quick come up, and it must be.
And a lot of people, a lot of them are not telling it. A lot of them are not telling the truth.
Right.
I already know it. So it's like, what do you don't jump in it. They wait and they get themselves dressed and they wait. They know where these guys are going to be. They know exactly. They got the friend with the camera. They know exactly what they're doing. A lot of them do. And a lot, like I said, it's a balance, but I'm talking about the ones who are doing that. Okay? The ones who are, they know who they are, and when they don't get what they want, then it's a problem later. And it shouldn't just be that one-sided because men are abused all the time. I know some men, all right, who have been sexually compromised in this industry by women,
Sure.
but they
Sure.
won't come out and say anything. There's a lot of producers. There's a lot of men that have been successful, but it's going to turn around though. And when it turns around, all hell is going to break loose. Because one thing that my mother says, things don't stay the same, and the lies are going to have to come out. Is everybody has to take responsibility for their actions, both men and women. And I can tell you, I've been on this earth for a while, and there's no amount of sex that'll make me lose my career, my integrity first, my career, my money, my family. No, absolutely not. Under no circumstances, no.
So what is
I mean,
it?
if you have a husband or a wife and you want a little fantasy, to go buy a pole or something. Don't go out and go in the street. You know what's in the street. Don't even put yourself in a temptation spot. A lot of people say, well, Denise, you did all this stuff. I never really seen you. I said, yeah, because I knew how to take my butt home. After Kiss FM, I didn't go to all the industry parties. I went to maybe two. I went to one concert, and that was Stevie Wonder. And then I went to one party, and that was Albie Shore at his party, and it was like a lot of people there. Darnell from he played Jesse on one of the soap operas. Fab Five Freddy. There's a whole bunch of people there, and it was you people do come up to talk to you, stuff like that, and you just hi and you go about your business. You make sure that you're not in a spot with a bunch of all guys where you're taking a drink. Mama always told me, once you put the drink down, that's it.
Right.
And I don't drink at social events anyway. Okay. So, and I don't really drink anyway, but I wouldn't drink alcohol while I'm at a business function, or that's another thing people need to learn. Just because Ciroc or this one or that one is sponsoring something and they have alcohol there, and you're in front of industry people, you know that they are watching you. If they have a lot of power, they could do all of that. The ones with power, they could drink and get shot, but somebody's going to be watching you. So you have to just you have to take care of yourself, carry yourself well, and try to keep as much of you private. It's hard, in this industry, but try to keep as much private. So, that was my thought process along the way. And then when I started my radio station and broadcasting and stuff like that, first started doing interviews, and I was on Spanier Radio. That was Adam Smith, Julius Dyson, formerly of Kiss FM. He was the one who introduced me to Adam, and Adam gave me my own show, and I had the pleasure of interviewing. That's how I met MC Globe and Walter Beasley. And then after that, I got on another station with a gentleman. It was called Keeping It Real Radio, and my job was to acquire the talent to be interviewed. I did Apache Ramos, and it kind of reignited his career in the movie The Orphans. And so he was pretty happy about that. And then I acquired Jerry Heller before he died. And I was telling about everyone that was the most very. He said one thing out of that interview that took me away and kind of like shaped my mind in a way of how people really are supposed to think about their craft. So I asked him a question about opinions and different things, and he stopped me. He said, Denise, I don't ask anybody what they think about my music or what I'm going to do. He said, I just release it. He said, I create the opinion. So, okay. So, that's why when I release stuff, and I don't really too much ask people about it anymore. Because that tells them that you're not sure. I mean, you're going to get feedback, but should I release this? Or, you'll keep doing that for the rest of your life. If you're sure about it and you're comfortable, you put it out there. And a lot of people are making mistakes, and they start promoting to their competition. All right, and they're sharing the stuff with other executives and other artists, and I said, no. You have to think it's the people. You think it's the people who are your fans, who will turn into customers, will turn into revenue for you and numbers. You are competing with and promoting amongst yourselves. That's why nothing's happening. You got to get to the people. And how do you do that? I told them, I said, no, you may not start on Funk Flex mixtape or something like that, you may have to go to coast, or the indie stuff that you may think you're better than that. But I said, I don't think I'm better. I go to everybody, because guess what? If I put one of my songs on a mixtape, a coast to coast mixtape that has 50 songs on it by like unsigned artists and stuff like that, unknown, their family's gonna be like, oh, they on the record. So everybody's like, I got all this promotion too. So those are like real people, and it turns into numbers. So I try to let everyone know, and I try to cover every market. Because people ask me also, how did you end up on a chart, and you beat Janet Jackson, you beat this one? I said, yeah, because in like 2015, the majors they were not paying attention to the digital online radio stations. That was a market that they was not really pressed about. They was into terrestrial radio. So that's why, I promoted to that market, and so I got more spins on a digital platform. They throw a major on every now and then, but now they're aware of it. So at least I got that under my belt, for a while. So it's just about doing the right thing, and if you don't, own it and don't do it again. It just don't even make any excuses. People just want you to say sorry, I won't do it again, and don't do it again. All the extra excuses, I tell artists, don't do that, because then that makes people more annoyed. Because everybody's in their feelings in this business. They're real sensitive. You can't do anything. It's like, oh, he called me and at the wrong time and interrupted me, so guess I'm gonna put the record on the shelf. You didn't do that. They will do that to you in a minute. So it's just, like I said, it's just a matter of just continuing to, I would never operate a business that I couldn't run if I had to depend on other people. Just put it like that. So you have a label, all right, so you have to know how to promote, market. You have to know how to incorporate. You have to know how to delegate responsibilities. And if you are a station owner, then you have to know how to program. You have to know what songs are hot, how to get licensing, appropriate licensing, and everything. You just have to. And when you release a record, a lot of these artists are missing specs. They are not registering the music, ISRT codes and the UPC codes. They are not registering that with Nielsen, BDS, or SoundScan. So they're not getting paid.
So
they missed that whole part. They said, what? I said, you didn't register your music? I always ask, because I like to help people. I said, because if you didn't, I'm going to be playing this for promotion, and so that means I'm not going to do it. So I tell them what to do, and they'll either come back or not. A lot of the younger artists.
So it seems like you were ahead of, in ways ahead of your time, as far as when you came up, as far as empowering yourself and with ownership and things of that nature. You weren't going to be one of these artists who just basically allowed a company or a label to just basically use you. And a lot of these artists that came up in the 70s, late 70s, or even like 80s, 90s in terms of hip hop and R&B have gotten ripped off. And I feel like now these people can talk about the quality of music all they want, but the bottom line is these artists coming up to me are better business people. That you see independent labels, you see a lot of independent artists doing their thing through YouTube and all SoundCloud or whatever. Who put you on to that line of thinking, as far as what you need to empower yourself, you need to have some equity in terms of your career? Did you have a mentor from that standpoint?
Well, no, I just felt like I wasn't going to compromise myself. I saw things, the things that we spoke about earlier, and all I had to do was observe. And along the way, though, I did have people like Yvonne Mobley and Ann Tripp from Kiss FM that would speak to me. I remember coming into Kiss FM and the room where I would actually, work from when Red or and Jeff Fox was on the air, had a bunch of like real important people in there, and they was doing a commercial or something for an advertisement. So I was standing by the door, and he mobilely walks by, and she says, "Denise, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm just waiting for them to come out. I gotta go on soon." I said, "She said, no, 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 no." She pulled me to the side. She said, "You knock on that door. You tell them you have a job to do." I said, "Wait, and they'll leave?" I was like 17 or 18 years old. I said, "They'll leave?" She said, "Yes, you knock on the door." So she stood there, and I knocked on the door, and all I did was open, like that. She said, "Oh, they said, okay, all right," everybody cleared up, and I said, "Oh, okay, okay." So, but, I had women like that around me. The late Bob Slade, he was nice to me. We talked. I just had a lot of people that did speak to me. Tony Gray, the program director at the time, he used to call me kiddo. Anytime, kiddo. Yeah, yeah. When I come in my office, we'll sit down and talk. And every time I came in there, he was there. He had his earpiece in. I think that man sleeps with that earpiece in when he's a program director. He every time you saw him, he's very into his craft of programming and if you look at him, he's unassuming because I think he had a Ferrari or something like that, a red Ferrari, and I was like, you wouldn't think that, but he was cool, but he still looked very like conservative, and but I've had a lot of people, talk to me, but I wanted to rewind back to something you said about the new artists and how financially they seem to be more, getting things done. That's because rap music, those guys was from the street. If you didn't pay them, you know what? Let me tell you how that changed and how now R&B artists have to be under some kind of rappers conglomerate. As you notice, it has to be either Diddy, Jay-Z, Rick Ross. You see how the R&B artists are underneath these rappers now. That's
Baby.
because how everything changed. They would go up in those offices and "Where's my money?" And they would choke, and then the guys were like, "What?" They brought the streets into the office, and I know that for a fact. On many of those record labels, they didn't want that. Okay, so that's why they got paid. Most of them got paid. Okay, so the R&B artists, like Luther ain't going nowhere fighting.
Right.
They Braxton,
Well,
they must get
well, that's
robbed.
kind of reverse
But
now. You got
hey,
Chris Brown and Trey Songz. That I think the R&B artists are harder than the rappers now. That kind of been switched up. They ready to fight in a heartbeat. Trey Songz,
yeah,
Chris
no,
Brown.
but what I'm saying, their bosses are rappers.
Yeah, I know what you're
So
saying. Yeah, I
they're
know what you're saying.
bosses. They under, yeah. So they're gonna make sure that they get their money.
Right.
They're not gonna have to, chase and whatever after the record executives. So they walk up in offices, and I think that happened in a couple of situations. It was public. And there's also like stuff that doesn't happen, publicly. So there's definitely some kind of understanding there when it comes down to, and then if there's any rappers that do get robbed, it's from the higher upper, the highest, like the
Right.
rapper. Say if you have, say for instance, I'm not going to say Diddy, okay? If he has someone underneath him, if the person's not getting their money, it's because he's not for them. He's not going to give it to them. It has nothing to do with the upper chambers. The upper chambers have already paid Diddy. You know what I'm saying? And Diddy has to delegate it. It's not, it's not going to be. They're all assigned to a certain power over what they call control your people. Let me just keep it real. Control your people, basically. I would be less than honest if I didn't say that.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
You control them, but they don't be running up in here. Something like that. Because people, if you get someone from the street, they don't play like that. So you got to kind of, get people that are in front of that, so that they could, and you polish them off, and then you make sure that they could, handle the new recruits, so that it doesn't get passed.
Now you work.
And then we have the other instances where they run it up in the offices.
Yeah, that can definitely get crazy. You work with a lot of artists throughout the course of your career. Now, do you find are you dealing with artists the same in 2019 as you did, say, in 1998 and 99, like in terms of like this generation versus past years? Do you feel like I'm a sports guy, so I kind of feel like with the NBA, you can't talk to players the way you can like now because they're so sensitive to any type of coaching or criticism like you could back in Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson's day. Have you had to adjust to personalities or just the times as your career has gone on?
I adapted hesitantly to the digital platform. However, the people who are creating the content really don't understand that the rudiments of the music business are still the same. It's just on a different platform. You have to apply the same skills. Let's say for example, that when you do record promotion, a director of regional promotion at a RCA Records back in the day, their street team was people that went out and handed merchandise and CDs in the street and made sure things were, the van and all this other stuff. Now, the digital era, the street team is sort of like those mixtape, like the Coast to Coast, or the Trend Cities, the different entities like that. Those are your street team. So basically, I don't really, let's put it like this, I don't deal with them. I try to. They're not. It's not clicking or registering to them. A lot of the new artists that nobody is really going to hand you anything, and things are different. Back in the day, one 12-inch single cost you $10,000. Okay,
Right.
to record, mix, master, and press. Okay. Now you can get a beat for $20.
Yeah.
Okay, get it mixed and mastered down on these sites, and then you spend over $100. And this is why the record companies are not giving out that big money. They're not doing it anymore. I wouldn't either. I'm not giving you $1 million. You put $10 or $20 into that. No, that's why this is happening. Okay, and it's a crippling effect. But a lot of so this is attracting so many. Everybody thinks that because they got the computer and phone that they're celebrities. So that is the problem. That's because they get all these likes and stuff. So then by the time they come to you and ask you to help them, they already have an attitude.
Right.
And you know what I do to them? So it's like a gate. You know how the gate goes? Boom. No, no, ma'am, no, sir. I'm not doing it because it's too risky. Because then it's a headache, and this business is hard work, and they don't get that. You have to put in the work. You have to get the real numbers, and you can't fudge the numbers. If you have 200,000 streams, okay, and then you go to a person's show, and they have two people in there to see them, and you're like, see, we know now that's not real. Those people, like at least 100 of those people will be at your show.
Right.
So all of that stuff is obvious. So what you want to get is kind of be realistic and have. Even if you have 10,000 or 50,000 streams, right, and you do a show, and that show is packed, all right, guess what? You are better off like that. The people that are looking, you're better off that way. Like me on a lot of my social media platforms, at one point I disabled comments because all I wanted people was to like see things and they had no choice but to see it and look or whatever. And then after a while, I started. I put the comment section so you can comment and I can engage back and forth with people because sometimes people can be ignorant and you don't want someone to go to your page and they see a lot of ignorance and foolish stuff typed on there, or somebody going there spamming your page with their music and stuff like that. And I try to tell people that social media is still a gathering, okay, but it's just on a different platform. So how you conduct yourself up there, what you do, it's the same. You got to watch. It's the same thing like as if you were outside at an event with among people. So people get real reckless on social media and stuff like that. So I don't I give the advice sometimes, and sometimes I just don't because people just think They're celebrities already, and instant success and watching all of this stuff. That takes a lot of work. They think just because Beyonce put it out, it's a button click. No, back behind the scenes, she was preparing for that for a long time, and that took a lot of money and work. But just because they can see it instantly, they think that's how it's going to happen for them. So I really have said I have to cut that loose, and I have to deal with more seasoned artists, people who understand the music business as well, and that's where I'm at. And if I do have interactions with artists through their manager, there's like a buffer there, because I can't talk to a young person that's not willing to listen, and that's the biggest thing in this industry that they want, and that's why people practice ageism. And see, that's what we got to understand, is because they think that people are not teachable. And always, as long as we're living on this earth, we are going to learn something. We always have to make sure that people know, we want to learn. We're here to learn, because that's why a lot of people, 30 and up are not getting hired, by a bunch of people. It's because they're not teachable. And I find that is true.
I just wonder.
It's a lot of stubborn. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just wonder if they.
It's all stubborn and setting their ways. Because I used to go to record companies. I'm like, what's this little country looking kid doing? The A&R VP of black music. That was the title back then. I'm like, what does he know about black music? Oh, yeah, you know what? They can tell him what to do. He's impressionable. That's what they want. And they call that teachable. But you should, but if you're skilled and you know what you're doing, and it's just kind of like a thread, and me, I'm not going to play a game with somebody just to, I'm not going to come and say, oh, I don't know this. No, I'm going to shoot it straight to you. I know this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And if they don't want to be bothered, or if they don't want to work with me, that's fine. Because then that means I know you're really not trying to make money. You're trying to brainwash someone into doing what you want them to do, as opposed to what they bring to your company, And we always have to know our worth. If we are bringing something to someone's company, we should not be compromising like that. And then if they don't accept it, then you have to take and get your own label. That's what I'm talking about. Get your own and get it for real. Incorporate that label. The LLCs, if you're lazy, don't get an LLC, because every quarter you have to, to do the paperwork again. Get the bank account. Get a DUNS number. And get a paydex score, which is your credit report for your business. A lot of the young people, they don't know that they get business credit that's separate from their personal credit, and that's why they're not really. Oh, I don't have a budget. I can't listen. Anytime somebody's gonna cut you a check, I know people that make like six figures in certain industries. I said, anytime somebody's cutting you that kind of check, they know that you could do this by yourself. They know that.
I just wonder if they, and I definitely don't try to, age shame, and I'm not. I think you can learn a lot from a 10-year-old, let alone a 20, 25-year-old. You can learn from anybody, but I just wonder if there are enough Denise, Smiths out there who are mentoring young artists coming up, and instead of people who are just looking for that quick flash in the pan artist who won't last longer than 2 years. Like again, I'm not in the industry, but just I read and heard a lot of stories like that. You see a lot of one-hit wonders. You see a lot of people who just don't have sustainability, and to me, I think the easy answer is they just don't have the acquired knowledge to to have long careers. They go broke, or their music doesn't grow or evolve.
And they don't have friends. They don't have real friends.
Real friends, yes. They
don't have no people.
Absolutely. Yes.
They don't have people around them that says no. And I say that stands outside also of the music industry, because I tell people, I said, even people in relationships, marriages, and everything, I said, don't you know that there's someone always influencing somewhere around? And if there's someone that's important to your partner, your husband, your wife, your anything, they're going to have an influence. Okay, and so if you look at the character, and it is true, you look at the character of who people associate themselves with closely. I'm not talking about the arm's length do business and that's it, whatever. I'm talking about closely. Then you'll see either your business partner or your wife or your girlfriend, and you're gonna have to judge them by that because there's something keeping that person so close to them. And if those people are bad influences, you're gonna have a hard time because I had friends that were in situations where they're good people, but they came to me and they was saying I'm mad at my significant other. I'm going to do this and that because he shouldn't have did this and that. And I said, you know what? Don't do that. And I talked to them, like really talked to them, and said, you know what? You have a point. So I had just stayed somebody from actually a big situation that could have really been hurtful towards that other person, and I spoke to my friend and I was like, that's not right. So, that's why people that are around me, you have to be real special to have access to me personally because I don't like all of that. I'm a home person. I'm a family person. I don't run the streets, but I will socialize when it's necessary. Like, if I go to an event, I pick and choose it. I don't have to be everywhere. Because that's another thing people have to realize. If you are part of being a recording artist and you want someone interested in you, then if they can see you walking down the street or any little bar or whatever, why are they going to pay for a concert ticket to come see you if they have access to you already?
So you're saying, okay, so let me,
you have to be real
I
careful.
want to rewind that real quick. So you're saying that a lot of these issues that artists are having, there are too many artists who are, in the clubs or just all over the place. You're saying that is a major problem.
And camp, I got my team, and the team is like you still having a little Wayne. I mean, come on, with the when he had the seizure from that scissor or whatever that was.
Yeah. I remember.
What kind of friends do you have?
Right.
You understand? Like it's like Chris Brown, all of those things. What kind of friends do you have? You guys are, and it's because they have the money. And those people do not want to cut that financial aspect off, and that's the sad part. It's a lot of those guys get into trouble because they don't have real friends. They have not one. If they listen, you don't have any friends. Okay, none of you have any friends, and they know. Everybody knows me in this industry. I shoot straight. You don't have any friends, so don't get on TV. My homie. No, you're not. Anytime that you get in the car and your homies are there and you're behind the wheel and you're drinking and you bump a car or whatever, you have not one friend. Sorry. Those are people who are maggots and leeches. So you don't have any friends. You notice that the ones that stay by themselves and to themselves and keep a low profile, stay in the game, Denzel Washington.
Oh, yeah. He
could have been taken out a long time ago.
Right.
But you don't see him everywhere doing everything. I think he had one indiscretion that came out, and that was it. Like Kobe Bryant too, one indiscretion, and he got the same wife. He retired on a high note, and he has a beautiful family and stuff like that. The more you out there and the more problems you're gonna have. Everybody's not your friend. Everybody's not your friend, and you can tell when stuff starts to happen to these people. See, this does not happen to Beyonce. This is not happening to her. Why? Right? So you got to think about that. Kylie Jenner's just finding stuff out. The Kardashians is just finally getting a little level-headed, and I think Kanye is leading that because he finally shut him down and told that little girl's not wearing any more makeup. And I was so happy to hear him finally start coming to his manhood and who he is as a man and a father. And she stopped with the makeup. She said only sometimes, but he doesn't want it. And she's gonna see a real. He's gonna really clamp down on her because he's getting into his spirituality. He's coming out of a lot of stuff that you know he's been through, and he's also exposing a lot of stuff that I'm saying. He's saying it in another way. He's exposing people. But I'm not exposing people, people per se, but he's on a level where there's certain things that he knows. The higher you go, the more information you get, so that the more of a threat you are. Okay? And what happens is, before you get destroyed in that industry, they attack your character, so that when you are destroyed, no one cares. You can't destroy R. Kelly on a high note. All hell will break loose. You can't destroy Michael Jackson on a high note. You have to take their character before they leave.
It sounds like you believe that they're.
So that's the sign. Those are the warning signs. Those are the warning signs.
It sounds like you believe that there are. Getting back to, the type of people that hang around, some of these artists. That there are a lot. You believe that there are a lot of lonely artists out there who want to put on this facade that I'm with everybody, I'm all over social media, but in fact it seems like there's some mental issues there as far as just internal pain. Like there's something. I've been real big on mental health over the last couple of years, seeing what's going on in our country, just even in just the day-to-day stuff that I see working even in education, and it seems like that's it seems like that's going on a lot within the music community, within just even entertainment in general. A number of just suicides and things of that nature. Throughout the course of your career, did seeing a lot of artists who had entourages and things of that nature, did you believe that they were truly at their truly lonely?
I think that because everyone is human. The nature of a human being is to always want, be loved and appreciated, and I think goodness is in every human being, and I think stuff happens, and people become re-socialized. But when you put someone who came from nothing, and they have no financial literacy, they're not emotionally mature, and you put them in a venue where there's Versace and they're hanging out with Tom Ford himself, and they're in these mansions, and they're amongst the Met Gala, and that's a lot of pressure, okay? And it's a lot of pressure, first of all, because they have to be something all the time to everyone, and the bigger they get, the bigger the responsibility is. They cannot say no, because what they did was they said yes. They said yes, so now they can't say no. See, there's levels to this. Everybody wants to know. Look at Kenny Lattimore, okay? He has a lot of integrity, a very spiritual man, okay? And he has a certain market, and he has a visibility, but he's not up there where we say Max. They came out at the same time, but he's not even up there where Maxwell is or Tank right now.
Right.
Certain artists like the passing him. He said no to some things. Okay, so there's levels to how far you want to go in this industry. Like where he would say no, someone else would say yes. So you would see that person that said yes more to whatever that deal was. You have to know when to stop, because the more yes you do, the more responsibility and the more demands. And if you don't meet the demands, then you are going to be in trouble, because it's a lot of pressure. So I think that's where all of the drugs, right? They trying to block all of that out, or they so used to everybody screaming their name. They never had that kind of self-worth before and validation. So when they come off the stage and they don't hear it, they get high. So there's two areas of this, and a lot of people are being used. A lot of people think that that rappers and sports figures and all that those are people of color. We look to them as political, people that will influence our political decisions. And when I kind of like alluded to that about Cardi B a long time ago. And I was like, nah, we love her. I said, let me tell you something. That what she said about President Trump was very, I'm sorry, Cardi, but that was very elementary. I mean, that was nothing new. And everybody's like, oh, she was right. Oh my God. She said he was wrong for shutting down the government. I said, listen, that's a trick right there. They got her because they want that. The Democrats want that Latin vote. And they're going to use Cardi B. They're going to squeeze her out until they get in that office. After 2020, you're not going to hear about Cardi B like this no more. Because now you see her linking up with Bernie Sanders. So now I'm telling you what they think. They go after certain artists and different things, and they think that we're so stupid that we are politically led by that. Instead of us doing the research. Now, I'm going to tell everybody right now, I'm a registered Republican. And when I stepped one toe inside college, and I took, I like political science, and, I read a book called The Irony of Democracy, and it really doesn't exist. Now, we may not like certain people that are Republicans, but I'm talking about the actual institution of what Republican means. And it means that people, whatever you work for, forget the people that are representing it right now, because those are just like police officers. They're good ones and they're bad ones. There's good people in every institution, but you have to weed them out. However, what Republic stands for was that whatever a person makes, they get to keep it, and they want less government involved. It's more the country should flow more without the government interfering. And actually, black people did better under the Republicans many years ago. Okay? Black people used to be the Republicans, and they were successful. And no one remembers that. And it was the Democrats who were the racists, who were the slave masters and all of that other stuff. So there's a lot of history there, and there's a lot of trickery. It's like unmasking things, And I tell people, I said, everybody looks at the dollar bill, and everybody says, oh, we're not participating in all that. And I said, well, yes, you do, because every time you pick up a dollar bill and it has that pyramid sign on it, you're participating in it. Right? And they said, no, that's not it, because it says in God we trust. I said, yeah, but what do you mean by that? They said, it says in God we trust. I said, what do you think God means? They said, God. I said, no, that means the government ordinance department. That's what that stands for. I said, a lot. So, when they talk to me, they're okay. So that's why a lot of people really cannot, either they're going to deal with me or they're not. Because I'm not going to play that kind of game with anybody. So listen, we all just live on this earth and let each other live, okay? If someone is intelligent, they pick it up and they read a book. They have a right to the information. They have a right, and good and bad, they both exist. Y'all stay over there. I'll be over here. Sometimes I may be over there. I might do the wrong thing one time or two. And, we just have to learn how to coexist with good and bad and do the best we can. However, when we do know that we've offended or we've done something wrong, like I said before, we have to own it, correct it, and move on. All right? And if you can't get along with someone, first, do no harm. That means do nothing. Leave them alone. Simple. That's how I feel about it. It's whatever they've done in this country and whatever it's done already. Whatever it is that we're involved in, we're in here. So what we have to do is use our personal power, and everybody has it, from the delivery boy on up to the Wall Street banker. If somebody comes and they want this stuff delivered to them, you have the power to do it on time, with a smile on your face, and not put that person through any changes. Everybody has the ability to impact someone each day when they walk out the door. A smile, anything. It doesn't have. You don't have to be rich. None of that. Just you walking down the street and somebody walks by and you smile at them. It makes a difference.
No question about it.
I don't think that we should focus on too much on changing the structure of this country because it's already there. What we have to do is learn how to treat each other and learn how to treat the planet and our bodies and everything else. Pray along the way. That's it.
Now, there's no question that you tell it like it is. You don't bite your tongue for anybody. Do you feel like you've missed out on any opportunities because of how straightforward you are? Do you feel as because of how blunt you are?
No, I used to think that until um,
What changed that
I
thinking?
got I started sitting with myself and talking to God and the what I heard in inside of my soul was that wasn't for you because the right situation is going to accept you just as you are, and I'd rather people have the option. See, that's the one thing too that gets people in trouble. When you take away somebody's option to deal with you or not, you fake the funk and then they find something out, then you're gonna end up with more problems. So I'd rather give people options and not take and not disguise myself because a lot of people out there are shutting up right now, thinking it, and not speaking their mind, thinking that the record deal is coming to them. And I always update my Facebook status a lot. I say, oh, so everybody out there that's being quiet and playing nice and not being real and saying what you really feel in the inboxes or in private and not openly. Did you get that record deal yet? And I hear crickets because you're not. That's simple. Because at the end of the day, you have to deal with the people. And like I said, once you get the people, they will have no choice. That's why I'm not worried about it. Because I'm going after the people, the people who are going to buy, listen, and connect with me, like on a real level. And one thing about consumers is that they can tell when you're engaging with them if you're for real or not. And at that point, if you have that kind of support, they have to deal with you. Do you know that that record, you can't touch this? Nobody wants to touch that. And so they played it. The people were the ones. Because even the people, the rappers in the industry that made fun of him, MC Hammer at first and all of others, they was running behind him in Harlem and stuff. But I went with them actually on the in-store. When he did the in-store promotion, when he came to New York, because he was outside of the Capitol Records, and I was coming downstairs with Dwayne Alexander, rest his soul. He, passed some years back. But, they was talking about him, and then everybody became his friend because guess what? People responded to the record. You can't touch it. It became a big record. So even the pants was no longer a joke. So it changed the whole trajectory of everything. So once you get the people, you can forget. Don't worry about. It's like don't worry about the rest of the stuff. The rest of it is just, isms. And just go concentrate on developing your crowd and your fan base, and they'll take you through it. So that's what I tell everyone.
So you believe that
and the companies are going to benefit from it.
So you believe that authenticity will never fail as far as attracting the people. That's no matter no matter how impatient the world is, no matter social media. Like if you are genuinely your authentic self as an artist, as a human being, that the people will always will gravitate to you more so than someone who is trying to be something for somebody else or try. I look at I don't know how.
Yeah, definitely, because it actually will build longevity. It's a more solid foundation, and it's a little bit more forgiving, and that's why when people make all these mistakes, these artists make all these mistakes publicly, it's a big fallout because of the phoniness. So, but if you're authentic and you make a mistake, it's more forgivable, and because you connected with your audience, they know you're for real, and you're gonna shoot straight to them and talk to them. they understand. But if you're phony, you got a whole persona, and then something comes out. That's why they have the PR people come to try to speak it up and clean it up, and then you have situations where people are depressed because they're being forced to marry people for for the cameras. A lot of these relationships are arranged for publicity, and a lot of these beef and wars and stuff like that against this one and that one is all for entertainment purposes. And entertainment, that's a lot of stress too, because you're pretending and it's not really real. But we have to ask ourselves why. Why is it that these artists have to do all that when all that they were required to do is to sing and perform? So why the extra stuff? See, that's the question. The extra stuff is exactly what I said. It's the extra stuff, and it has a lot more to do with distractions. See, it's like right at the moment when somebody's doing something else, and a big story comes out about that chicken and all that other crap that was going on a week ago. You got to look at it and find. That's when I start watching the stock market.
Yeah. Oh no, that is not to get back to politics, but that's
Washington.
no. Yeah, that is.
When they running around with that chicken and get distracted.
Yeah.
He's in blackface. All right. Anyway, that's been going on. Let me check the stock, because I'm gonna get ready to get some stock for cheap too.
I'll give you a perfect.
That's what they do.
I'll give you a perfect example. It just happened. It just happened 2 days ago, or maybe even yesterday. You had Trump say something about. He made a comment about Mexicans or Latino. He's trying to crack a joke that was a corny joke. People all up in arms about that. But the bottom line is he just the distraction was he passed this emissions bill in California. So that's what's going on. That is Trump is a master of that.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah, that's purposely done. And I don't know why. We keep, I say we keep falling for that. It's like every week.
Yeah.
Who's going to boycott this week?
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I said, I give up. There's no more march. I'm not marching. I'm not boycotting. I'm not doing any of that. Because I said, actually, if you do the reverse, it's a little different. We know that, Tommy Hilfiger, he made a mistake one time and said something that he really felt, and he said it openly, and it was a fallout for that. Many designers and companies have. I said, listen, I said, we know that it exists, and we know that people don't want certain people in certain things, but you don't have to listen to it. If it's made from the best quality, if you like it, buy it. I'm not jumping on a bandwagon every other week. I need for people to see real results, solid results, and a thought process. And I don't think that enough people gave enough of us gave Barack Obama the critique that he deserved, because he was standing there and he could have done much more. So many African American men got shot on his watch. That's not happening every day with Trump there. Say what you want about his character or the way he delivers stuff. The statistics on African American men that was getting shot cold by police are more alarming, and it was more raised up, and Barack Obama did nothing about it. Nothing. Now you go look at it. How many got killed on his watch? And he never brought the federal government in there. Never got the Department of Justice involved to the extent where Trump threatened Chicago. Say, either you handle it or the National Guard will. You see what I'm saying? Do you see the difference? It's like one person is worried about how, but I already understand that he was put there because some remarks were made. He needs reparations. Well, I told some people, his mom. He may be a black man, but his mom, he was raised by a white woman. So culturally, we don't understand his mind. You understand? And then his father supposedly left the mother. So you don't know how Okay, so I just, like I said, it was a lot of things. Even the bill of something with the Bill of Rights, as far as the police entering the homes and stuff like that. When everybody was dancing New Year's Eve, I don't know if it was 2012 or 13, somewhere around there, Barack Obama, he made it more. He made it easier for the police to just stop you for no reason or come in your home for no reason. Now you can check that too. And all the powers that Donald Trump inherited is because Barack Obama put in he forced a lot of things through with the earmarks and different things, loopholes, and the Republicans was going, no, everybody was upset. But yay, yay, yay! And then to calm the black people down, he gave extra money, extra food stamps on them cards. So he did that. And if he knew what those people was doing with that, they was getting their purple weaves done. A lot of people was getting their purple weaves. They was going to get their nails done. They was calling each other, "Oh, girl, you got extra money? I got 5 kids. How do you know?" It's the truth. We don't want to admit it, but culturally, and people that understand like the hood and what goes on in it, do want to get mad about it. But culturally, there's certain things that certain ethnic groups do. Okay, and we have to tell the truth. It's a hard conversation, I know. A lot of people don't want to hear it, but we have to tell the truth and we have to correct it. Okay, because we have to realize that even when he came up and he said, "I'm cutting everybody's credit limits. All right, I'm dropping them down because without duty to pay, how fair. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, Rod. I didn't borrow money from China. I didn't get my cut. When I get my cut, or what I supposedly borrowed, then we'll talk. But I didn't get that. I didn't benefit from that. So he bailed out the bank, but then he started dropping. I don't know if you know my aunts and different people that had their credit limits high. Like they had a credit cards of 10,000. It went down to like 5. That was part of him bailing out the bank was to drop credit limits. So Bush, they had an interview with him. He said, "Listen, I'm just gonna say it like it is." He said, "The credit, that was issued and put in place to reward hardworking American people who were responsible and paid their bills on time. Okay, they had the credit. Okay, now if they mess it up, that's on them." So if somebody was making $30,000 a year and they had $100,000 worth of credit, he said that's on them. He said, but we reward people that work. So he said because that makes the difference between that can make a difference between that working class family having a vacation, dealing with an emergency crisis, school supplies and school clothes for their children. And if they're working and they're paying the minimum or whatever on time, then they should have that access. That was there for that reason. And I agree with that. Because I know a lot of people who are, they have their regular job and they have excellent credit. And they track. You know what I mean? But they're not. They didn't get $40,000 a year, but they're responsible. They pay their credit, so their credit rate scores are high. So then they get, rewarded with, the little credit cards, and they plan a little trip. They get to enjoy their life. You understand what I'm saying? So I kind of lean towards what former President Bush said. I tend to think that that's the better way to go. The other one seems a little bit more. Seemed a little more controlling. A little bit more dictatorship. And I did say that what he's doing is not going to roll over too well if the wrong person gets in there. So if Donald Trump says he inherited certain things when he got there, that's exactly what he did. The power that Barack Obama put in, like the federal things, like all the systems are communicating with each other. It's almost like a one person running the country or whatever. That was put in place already. He did that, and Donald Trump walked right in on it. So now you have. So it's not that he is trying to be a dictator. I think once it was set up that way, that's the only way that he could go walk in that door and the power is there. The power was there already. Before Barack Obama, he wouldn't have been able to do that. He would not have. Because even with Bush and them, they would have to go to councils and different things to start wars, or they didn't have to have talks. And I used to, some of the things that Trump said about the troops and stuff. I used to say this all the time. I said, wait a minute, what do you mean? We all at war? How come? No, Italy sent us with 2 planes and 17 soldiers, and then we got a few little British soldiers, and droplets here and there, and then you got 2,000 some Americans soldiers out there, and they come back wounded, messed up, and so I'm like, something ain't right about this. And we all in a joint with a coalition. And I said, that's not a coalition. So Trump brought it up, and I said, see. I said, he told them straight to their faces. You should see all of their faces cracked. They had a meeting, and he said, listen, y'all not saying that you're not giving enough your own money. You haven't paid us for the military. You're in debt with us, and you're not sending enough your troops and stuff. That's got to change. He didn't lie.
A couple of musical items.
He didn't lie. And then,
sorry, I mean to catch you. A couple of music items before I let you go. One, what is the next step in your career? I mean, you've been in it 30+ years, done seemingly almost everything as far as the multitude of positions you have been in. What is the next? What should we look for Denise Smith in the future?
Well, basically, that's my government name, and my stage name is Denise Renee Caplock. So if you see you're going to see more music coming out. I have another collaboration with the legendary MC Globe, originally from the Soul Sonic Force, Planet Rock, Africa Bambaataa, and I'm just going to really focus on writing, very solid material, and start pitching to other artists, that are established. And just working a lot with like I said, the label and the other ventures. Like I'm like building my network, and you'll see, there's gonna be some things out there. I just don't want to give everything away, but you'll see some things happening, and I'll keep you up to date, and come back when everything's going great.
What is, in your opinion, again, you are in the industry through and through. What is the next big thing that we should look forward to in music in general? There's always, trends that are changing every day. What, streaming now has taken over. What do you see in the future as in the back overall for me in terms of music? The next, kind of thing that we should be looking out for.
I think what's going to happen, and I'm going to take you to the wall with it. All right.
Go
I
right
think
ahead.
that ultimately, there is going to be one major record company, and I think that there's going to be no use really at some point for artists, recording artists. Even to do the shows and do the tours, because they are already getting our voices, our sounds, everything that we sign up for now, and these iPhones that are opening up the phones with our eyes, and our voices, we're recording our voices. They're going to use all of that for artificial intelligence, and they're going to have people singing on music made by computers. They're going to press the button and put that out, okay? Then that particular artist is going to go on tour as a hologram.
Wow.
So they're going to take and then everybody's going to go and pay, and they're not going to spend any money on physical artists. Now I took you to the wall. That's what I think. They're already testing this stuff out. This hologram, all of this stuff, and this artificial intelligence is real. Okay, so that's what I think. It's about 3 major labels already. Before it was so many of them. Okay, and I never thought Capitol. I would never see the day where Capitol Records was not a major label. You understand? So it's 3. take three. It's going to end up one, guarantee you. And artificial intelligence is going to take over the singing, okay, all of that. All these machines and computers, it's all being done for a reason. You know, you have it. Some people now, they can just put a song in and it'll quantize and change the notes and get everything up. You don't have to do anything. So it's coming. You know, and then they just put them on tour, the hologram, you know, and everybody's going to buy into it, you know, and that's it. So they no output, financial output. And that's why you see a lot of tech gurus getting jobs at record companies. You notice that there's not really any real musicians like they used to be with the degree in music theory and this and that, and sitting at those boardrooms anymore, signing artists. They are actually computer programmers, designers, software engineers, all that Silicon Valley stuff. They are all in the record companies.
And I want that's you just basically blew my mind with that. That it makes perfect sense, and I want to bring it back to your point of how, based on what you just said, it's going to be that much more important for anybody who wants to break into the music business to own stock in their own equity, and even like, especially if you're like even if you're an artist. So I want to I think that's a perfect way to bring it back to what, our original, one of your original points about empowerment and how learning the business side of music. And I think if that happens, and it sounds like you are extremely confident that that's going to happen within the next, 5, 10, 15, however long it takes, ownership and empowerment is going to be more important than ever from the music standpoint.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people that are in the music industry are pretty much to be warned that they should be taking some software or artificial intelligence kind of courses and stuff like that so that they can remain employed and remain viable, because those are the people who are going to be behind a lot of, I'll say biochemistry, okay, all the sciences, okay, all the things that deal with astrology and anatomy and all of that and computer, all right, computers and artificial intelligence, they need to stay in that. And that's where the future is headed. Everything's going to be like that. The cars are driving themselves.
So you're more worried about the people who are currently in the industry versus the up and coming young people, because the up and coming young people are tech savvy. So you're more concerned about people in their, like, say 30s and 40s and 50s who are in the industry more than, say, the next generation from that standpoint.
Yeah, but as far as like a lot of these young people that are coming up that are artists, they need to understand that, once that fizzles out, they need to learn how to create the art in a different format, like a hologram or a character. The Jetsons weren't too far off of what they were talking about. So if you get somebody who has a voice and they can record it and then create a character, and they took they have studied artificial intelligence and stuff like that, then they become the creator of the content. See, and then the hologram tour. So that's what I'm saying. That's going to be how the artists are going to be, dealing anyway. And radio also fades out, because now we got iTunes and Spotify streaming, like radio stations, and have their own stations in there, and they attract people to come to it based on how popular the artist is. So now you have LL Cool J does the old school kind of stuff, the Rock the Bells radio stations. So they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
But before I let you
have
go,
to pay attention. Like, and every day it changes.
No question. Things.
Let's put it like this: they need to hurry up and get their money.
Gotcha.
Hurry up, make your legacy, and get your money and make your legacy though. It has to be a legacy. Quick money without a legacy, it makes no sense.
No
It's sort of like the traditions and the beliefs of Solomon. He's like get your riches now, adorn yourself, and leave a legacy. Because when you leave, it's nowhere else to go. And we bought into that stuff. Your heaven and hell is right here on earth. And that's what everybody needs to understand. You could create your own heaven and your own hell, because we're all given free will and God-like powers. We have power to impact, and what we do with that is up to us.
No question about it. That's actually a perfect way to end the podcast. Denise, before I let you go, give everybody your Instagram, Twitter, social media, where you can be reached. Any websites that you find, any websites, and I'll definitely put it on my YouTube page.
Okay, yeah. My Twitter is at D Caplock, CAPLOCK. Facebook, Denise Renee Caplock. Collins Crest Entertainment Group, and 13th Highest Music. And my Instagram is at Denise Renee Cap.
Denise, thanks.
And
okay.
right now I'm being distributed by my new release, Daniel Blow Your Horn, is distributed by Who-Mag, who has their own distribution with Sony Orchard. They have their own deal. So, and my label, Collins Crest Entertainment Group, is distributed by Paradise Distribution. So, and I'm on SoundCloud, just look under that name, Denise Renee Caplock. They can find me. It's easy.
Denise, just incredible amount of wealth of knowledge and wisdom in terms of the industry. I mean, it felt like it was a master class. I can't thank you enough for coming on to the program. We will definitely, link up and have you back on just to discuss anything. I mean, we covered a lot in an hour and 17 minutes. Have a great evening, and we will touch base with you soon.
Okay, thank you for having me, and everyone out there, be blessed, stay inspired, and remember who you are and know your worth.
Can't say it, perfect way to end the podcast. Have a great evening, Denise, and thank you again.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Well, we covered a lot, a lot during that podcast. Thanks to Denise, she brought it. Listen, there's nothing like learning and talking to someone who has the amount of experience within the industry and hearing different opinions. And she covered a lot. She covered a lot. Covered a lot. We sports, politics, everything, religion. We covered a lot on there on the podcast. I will post this podcast as soon as possible. It will automatically be on Blog Talk Radio. So if you're Blog Talk Radio tonight, you get the podcast first. You get the podcast first. As far as my YouTube page, you gotta wait your normal 15, 20, 30 minutes. But I will definitely post before the night is over. Back to back. Listen, NBA players, if NBA players can do it, I can do it. Back to back nights, back to back podcasts. I enjoyed it. As always, thanks for joining me. This is the Real Deal Podcast with Cyril Gerald-Quinn, telling it like it is with no apologies. Thanks for listening. I'm out.